What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's me here, Ari. Today, I'm going to be doing another story time. A lot of you guys seem to like these story times. I have so many stories, although I'm very selective about what I tell. This is one I don't mind telling. At the time, it was traumatizing to me, though. Traumatizing, okay? But I had a girlfriend that got me a job working for this company doing medical billing. I did medical billing for them. When I first got hired, it always seemed a little odd, even as far as where the company was placed. I just never felt right about it. And as time went on, I came to understand why. First of all, I always got my own jobs, I always got my own jobs. But this time I let a girlfriend kind of help me find this job. And the pay was great. I think at the time for me, I was making maybe 15 an hour. And that was pretty good. It was better than what I was making at the original company I was working for, doing the same thing, medical billing. But this was for radiologists and physical therapy. Actually, it was for physical therapists. That's what it was for. So, I got in with this company, and I started, working for them. They trained me. It was very different the way things were handled. Um, I knew something was weird from the beginning, and the actual owners were from India. They were not here in the United States. So that was another something that was weird. It was just for me working where here in the United States, all of my bosses or the owners were also in the States. So working for a company where your bosses were from India was different. So things were handled different, if you can understand that. But we never really saw them or anything. But over time, everything was cool for a while. And then over time, they started to get really picky about everything. Everything was monitored. Your screens were monitored. Um, it was just very picky. I'll just put it to you that way. They were getting picky and picking at everything that we did. If we did anything wrong or if we didn't handle it exactly the right way. And a lot of times in medical billing, sometimes it's not just one way you can handle things. You can handle things in different ways and come up with the same result of collecting your money. They started to get to where they wanted you to only do things a certain way, but they didn't tell you what way. It was like you didn't handle that right, but they didn't ever say, well, you should have did this or you should have did that. You just didn't handle it right. So first off, I was like, that's a little bit weird. And when people start doing that, you kind of start thinking, something's wrong. Something's wrong. And so I noticed a lot of me and my friends who were newly hired were getting picked on, whereas the people who had been there for longer periods of time, they left them alone. Although we all were basically doing the same thing, because sometimes I would, mention to the lady sitting beside me, hey, look, how do you handle this? How would you handle that? And when she told me she would handle it the same way I did, but yeah, I got in trouble. Yeah, something's off. Something's off. So over time, it just gradually got worse, and I started keeping track and monitoring who was making mistakes more than others, or whose work they didn't like, or if you didn't keep up to a certain standard in your collections or getting the money in. And I was always on the back end of that. You know what I'm saying? So I always kind of felt a little funny. I'm like, I'm not used to this. I've always done well. So I don't understand what's going on. And all of my friends were saying the same thing, but it was all of us who were hired in last. So, yeah, we were feeling funny about it, but we were like, and then we kept hearing things from India that things were changing and possibly the place was going to be closing. And on break, I would just hear from people who, had friends that were friends with the boss, how they know the inside scoop. We heard that people from India were coming down and that, they were coming to America and things were going really bad. They were probably going to be closing the place down, shutting everything down. So, of course, we're like, is that hearsay? Is that real? I don't know. But one day we walked into work and there were several men, I would say about 10 men from India, and my heart sunk because we had never seen them before. And then hearing all of the hearsay about things closing down, we all were in a panic. Everyone was in a panic. And so they started talking to us and how they were, going to have to cut back. And then they called several people to a back room and they just put us all in this back room. But they didn't call everybody, but everybody who was new was called to the back. They had a few people that were left, but all of the people who were left up front were people who had been there for a while. So they basically had us sign this piece of paper saying that we were being let go, and it showed how much we would get as a severance package. And from that point, when we went back to our desk, there was a big box on our desk for us to pack our things. So going into work that morning, none of us had any idea this was going to happen. None of us had any idea that was going down like that, right? So I remember packing all of my things into my box, and yeah, they walked us out, and that was it. That was it. We didn't have a job. We did not have a job. So I headed straight over to unemployment. I filed my claim. That's the only time in my life I've ever had unemployment. But yeah, that's what I had to do. And that was, I couldn't even cry. I wanted to cry, but I couldn't cry because at that time I was single. It was just, it was crazy. It was a crazy time in my life. And I remember just being so hurt because we thought the whole place was closing down, but the fact that they kept some people and they let all the newer ones go. And mind you, when I left my old job to go to that job, my first job, it was stable. They would have never done anything like that to me. Um, and I was regretting going to the new job, making more money when I could have been in my old job making less money, but still had a job. So just goes to show sometimes, what looks to be better, it may not be better. So you really have to kind of do your research and look into things. I would hate for anybody to be in that situation that I was in because it was horrifying. Like I said, I had to file unemployment, but after that, any job I went to, I never, for years, I would never take any personal items like pictures, any of my personal items. I never would take them and place them in my office or at my desk, or it took years for me to get to that point to where I felt comfortable to put personal things in my space again, my workspace, because because of that trauma that happened to me. I was like, I never want to have to pack my things again. If they ask me to go, I'll just go. I'll just go. I won't have to pack anything, and I'm out. But you guys, that was a story. That was a story. That was the only time that I got walked out of a company. Yeah, they didn't fire us. They didn't fire us. We were laid off. So later on, they did ask a bunch of us to go back. Nobody wanted to go back there. It's like, forget it, man. Y'all did us like that and they're talking about come back. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm not down for that. I'm not down for that. But yeah, you guys, that was another little story time I wanted to share with you guys. So yeah, leave me some comments down below. Let me know if you had to go through anything like that. How did you feel? But yeah, I'll be dropping more of these every now and then. But leave me some comments and let me know what you like to see. Okay, so that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed it and see you in the next video. Take care.